everyone, and welcome to another episode of Offsides, your one-stop shop for everything NFL and NHL. Super Bowl right around the corner. We'll dive into that in a minute here. But just giving a quick shout out, last night, NFL honors took place, found out the season award winners, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. Just giving a quick shout out to our boy A-Rod, back-to-back MVPs, fourth MVP of his career. Very well deserved. And always got to shout out our green and gold.
I guess one just quick question. Do you think that he gets 5? I think that there's no indication that he wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, to be the first, like, there's only been a couple ever that ever go back to back. Nobody's ever done a three-peat of MVPs. I mean, if he stays in Green,
the only one with 5.
yeah, I think in Green, if he stays in Green Bay, that sets him up the best. Because if he goes to another team, chances are he's going to make sure that that team has other star players, so that he's not like in Green Bay, they finally have some guys on defense that are good. They got a good backfield. You got Devontae Adams, where it's not all on his shoulders, even though the media and ultimately it is, because if he didn't play for the Packers, they'd be a different team. But he's not going to go to a team where they're a bunch of nobodies, super young team, to where then, yeah, he could be MVP because people realize, oh shit, this team was 6-11 last year, and now they're 12-5, and they made it to their conference championship. Yeah, he's the MVP because now he's on that team. But also, I'm sure he doesn't want to have to put in that rebuild, which is a big thing that he said at the beginning of the offseason right away. Hey, I want to be a part of a rebuild. Hinting that towards Green Bay, saying don't get rid of a bunch of guys, and also if you're a team in rebuild mode, don't call because I'm not listening, kind of thing.
Or if you do get rid of a bunch of guys, make sure you're bringing in a bunch of vets.
Yeah, like the Tom Brady effect. Heads to Tampa, not a whole lot going on there, but brings in enough guys.
All vets.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be cool to see him get number 5. Obviously, he hasn't. We're still
probably 2 weeks away yet.
Yeah, a month tops before we know what he's doing for sure. But yeah, awesome to see him get his 4th, and love the hair. That was majestic.
Yeah, he looked like a porn star.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, then jumping into the big game that wraps up the 2021-22 NFL season, Super Bowl 56, Rams Bengals. I guess we can kind of drop some score predictions right at the end, but just kind of what are some of your key points you're going to be looking at for this game, and then ultimately who you think is going to be the Super Bowl 56 winner?
I have three things to watch in this game. 2 are on the Rams side. 1, how effective is that defensive line only rushing 4? Can they get there? Can they draw the pressure with the 4 guys not having to bring extra? As well as Jalen Ramsey. Does he guard Jamar Chase the entire game? Or does he lock down somebody else and they double him instead? That'll be an interesting thing to watch. Second thing for the Rams, Matt Stafford. How many turnovers does he have? If he plays a flawless game, I don't feel like there's going to be any hiccups for the Rams in this game. However, if he does struggle, which I would assume that he would have some, at least a little bit of struggle, since it is his first Super Bowl, that the Bengals will be in this game if he struggles. And the last thing, this kind of goes both ways. Usually in a Super Bowl, there's really about 2 swings of momentum. Can the Bengals capitalize when the momentum is theirs to make a huge impact in this game? If they let their momentum go too quick and it gets back in the Rams' hands, this could be an easy one for Los Angeles.
Yeah, and obviously taking kind of the odds and like all that into consideration, the Rams are currently 4-point favorites.
I thought it lowered to 3.
ESPN's showing 4 right now.
Okay. Because I know it was 4.5 originally, and then I saw 3 must be back up to 4. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, the quarterback battle is, always a point of emphasis in any Super Bowl, any game really. It's how the guy under center performs is going to determine a team's game, season, like all that. As you mentioned for this game, it seems like Joe Burrow's kind of rolled with the underdog. We're not supposed to be here. Let's just play and have fun role. And it's really worked out for them. He's balled out, very minimal errors. That connection between him and Chase seems like it's getting better and better as the season goes on here. Kind of one thing on the Bengals side, you mentioned as far as the play of Stafford, if he can avoid turnovers, and then if those turnovers lead to points, can be a trouble for the Rams. On the Bengals side, an issue that they dealt with against the Titans, which ended up not mattering in the end, they give up 9 sacks to the Titans, which was obviously a big concern coming into this game against the pass rush of the Rams. I guess kind of, I mean, an odds perspective of it, what's kind of an over under of if the Bengals stay under X amount of sacks, they have the best chance to win the game. If they give up more than this many sacks, they're in trouble.
9.
That
We
many,
know,
you think?
yeah, we already know that he can do it from 9. So I'm going to put that number at 9 and say he could do it again. There's not a reason telling me that he can't.
Yeah. See, I think my number is more like 5 if they give up more than 5 sacks, because the Titans were not firing on all cylinders on every part of the field in that game. Derrick Henry didn't come back in dominant fashion. Ryan Tannehill had 3 picks, to where those 9 sacks, yeah, they won the game despite the 9 sacks, but had Derrick Henry come back 100%, Tannehill not maybe thrown 1 less interception or 2 less interceptions, those 9 sacks would have been more of a difference maker, to where the Rams are more complete. And so long as Stafford doesn't have a 3 interception game, they don't abandon the run game and completely depend on him, to where I think that mark is closer to like 4, 5, 6 sack range. Of if you can stay under that, terrific. But if you end up getting over that 5 mark, then because more than 5 sacks, I mean, a drive is typically 3 plays. If you don't get to the sticks in 3 plays, you're punting. So 5 sacks means basically almost 2 of your drives are shot. If you combine those 5 sacks and you're unable to get them back. So I think that I'll just say 6 sacks, because that's a sack on, let's say, first, second, third down 2 times in a row. That'd be 6 sacks. That's 2 drives gone. If the Bengals basically come up, like have 3 and outs more than 3 times in this game, or 2 times, if those 6 sacks happen, I think that is a difference maker on the other side that hurts the Bengals. As you were talking about Stafford, if he has too many, like more than 1 interception, it could hurt them. If they have more than 2 3 and outs in this game, I think the Bengals fall too far behind, just because of the consistency of the Rams.
So you don't think that there's no way, if they fall behind like they did to Kansas City, that they can come back?
Well, I'm not saying there's no shot, but
because they had 3 and outs in the first half.
Yeah, but also Kansas City didn't play. Like, that's what I'm saying. The Rams, so long as they stay consistent, so long as Stafford doesn't start throwing picks.
I just go back to the end of the Tampa game where they had the 3 possession lead and watch that dwindle away.
Yeah. Some of that was just bad ball security, though. It wasn't really as much as.
Yeah, the defense has got to make plays when you're down.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously they come back from an 18-point deficit once already. I'm not gonna say that it's not possible, but at the biggest game on the biggest stage, there's only been a couple times it's happened. And I mean, the GOAT has one of them, which it comes to a point where one more thing can't go wrong and 18 things got to go right consecutively to get that game back within reach.
I just feel the Bengals are never out of it because they're a true team and they believe. There's like no quit at all in
Yeah,
that team.
yeah. But like, I mean, for this game, I see it being, I mean, it could be a higher scoring. Like, if Stafford gets rolling, if Burrow gets rolling, this could be a 30 something, like both teams are in the 30s, one team in the 40s kind of thing.
That's my prediction if we're going to get there. 34-31 Cincy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that, I mean, as much as the defense is going to step up, they're going to get stops, turnovers, could see a defensive score in this game. Um, yeah, I mean, if it gets to a higher scoring battle like that, that's where I'm saying like the on Stafford's side, one or more than one interception could hurt them because those are empty drives where you're not getting points. On the Bengals side, 3 and outs as a result of giving up too many sacks is kind of equivalent to an interception, as far as just running the ball or running 3 plays and giving the ball away. Um, but yeah, I mean that's I mean aside from the points you kind of mentioned, that's really the only thing as far as to pay attention like that is going to be a big factor in this game. Obviously, quarterback play, as we talked about, Stafford, and then on Burrow's side, the sacks. Can he stay under that 5 number? Is kind of that number I'm looking at. And as far as a prediction for myself, I'm gonna say 35-30 Rams. If the Bengals win, I think it's going to be on the leg of Evan McPherson. I don't think it's going to be
I got him hitting the game winner at the end.
I don't think it's going to be Burrow makes or gets the ball back under 2 minutes, has to go the length of the field with no timeouts, kind of thing. Not saying that that can't happen; they don't have the ability to. I just don't see that. Like, if that does happen, I could see the Rams standing up and getting the job done defensively to not allow that to happen. Um, but yeah, if the Bengals do win, I see it being on a field goal within the under the 2 minute warning, and then their defense does enough, maybe forces Stafford's first pick of the game when they're trying to go down on a game winning drive. Who knows? But yeah, should be. I think it's gonna be a really good game. Despite the Rams defense and how good they are, I see the Bengals being able to drop at least 4 touchdowns on them in this game.
Agreed.
But yeah, so then yeah, not a whole lot other to talk about in the NFL. Again, NFL honors was last night. Free agency is going on, so once the Super Bowl wraps up, we'll find out who's going where. I mean, our boy A-Rod, we mentioned him in the beginning, kind of the world is hanging in the balance, the sports world's hanging in the balance as to what he's going to do for next season. So once the Super Bowl is done, that's kind of where our content and our heads are going to be for the off season. So moving over to the NHL here, then one of the trending things this season has been the Arizona Coyotes. They owe the city of Glendale millions of dollars. They're behind on their venue. The city didn't re-sign them to come back. So Coyotes took the initiative. They signed a multi-year deal to move into ASU's new facility, which they're actually building. That's going to be done this summer. It's going to be a 5,000 seat arena, so considerably smaller than the arena they're currently in, but should make for a fun college atmosphere where it's completely packed every single game. And then as far as their future, they put in 2 builds of land in Tempe, in the Tempe area, to get themselves a new arena. So with them putting in those bids for land, do you think that this means that they're for sure staying in Arizona? Or do you think that a full relocation for them to another city, another state is still on the table?
I don't think relocation at this point is an option, especially as the NHL owns the Arizona Coyotes because of their issues that they've had in the past as far as where they're playing, now where they're playing. Yeah, they had to claim bankruptcy and the NHL had to buy them. Otherwise, their franchise would have been gone. And just going off of what Gary Bettman, the current president of the league, is that there's no issue here. We're working on building them their own little rink, getting everything done, moving them out of the city that they're currently in, as it's just not working out with the city for whatever reason. I guess there will be a pay, like a check being sent soon from the NHL to cover all those missed payments. But yeah, it seems like they're just gonna cut their ties and start fresh somewhere else in Arizona, somewhere not in, like, not way outside of a city. When you, like, they said that they were the Phoenix Coyotes and they're fucking like an hour and a half outside of Phoenix. It's just like people aren't driving that far to go watch the Coyotes, especially when they stink.
Yeah.
So this is a good move. This is a good move for the Coyotes.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta start somewhere. You can only get knocked down so many times before you just submit and accept your fate and restart. And I think kind of as far as building a good atmosphere again, going to a smaller arena, yeah, there might be money that's lost as far as not selling as many tickets, whatever it might be, but you're building a new, I should say, building a new fan base. And I mean, and I'm sure in some ways, because students that go to ASU are now going to start going to Coyote games because it's like, oh yeah, we got an NHL team playing on our campus. Let's go watch them, kind of thing.
And
But
Coyotes guys are probably gonna be crushing ASU students.
yeah,
Like, and no NHL player is gonna say, no, I don't want to play out of college when all these kids are like 21, 22, 23 years old and they're millionaires.
hmm,
Like, Arizona State is the spot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a cool move. Yeah, but I agree with you. I don't think relocation makes sense, especially since, as you mentioned, the NHL is kind of in control of what they can and can't do at this point. This is kind of their um, go do this for a couple of years, and if you can kind of build back up to a relevant team, start filling the arena again, then maybe somebody's interested in buying the Coyotes off the NHL, and then at that point, then they can relocate if they want to, or build them arena elsewhere, whatever that might be. But yeah, this definitely seems like the best move for them for the time being, just to kind of get their head back straight.
Yeah, you got to restart, regrow your fan base again. Like you said, you already do have a fan base now that you're shrinking the size of the stadium. You're going to get all the diehards there every single night, and hopefully that it is a packed house. I do kind of feel bad that Arizona State made them have to build their own rink, though. They're not allowed to use the same, like, workout facilities, none of that, because it's against NCAA rules.
Oh,
It's
that's
fucked up.
weird.
Spin Shickles was talking about it the other day on how, like,
Well,
yeah,
what
it's
about the
cool and
NFL
everything.
though? Because I
I
know
don't know.
The
I don't
Bengals
know if
were,
the NFL is the same as the
because the
NHL.
Bengals have been using University of Cincinnati's indoor facility to practice.
Yeah, their field. I don't know if they're using their workout equipment
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Bengals
because
have their
that's
own workout facility. But yeah,
because that's what they're talking. Why they had to put in for the parcels of land is to build them their own locker room, build them all their own workout equipment, everything. Because the NCAA said no, you cannot. We cannot be a part. Like, you're a professional team, for Christ's sakes. Fucking have your own shit.
yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but good for the Coyotes though. They've gotten a couple wins lately too. Like, fuck yeah, good news. And then my last thing here, Boston, currently on the end of losing 2 games straight. They will be continuously without Brad Marchand for another 5 games due to his suspension. Patrice Bergeron currently out as well with injury. No timetable yet for, I guess they are saying day to day with a head injury, but a head injury, who knows how many days that's going to be. Also, the news on the other podcast the other day, Tuukka Rask resigning, stepping away. Do you think this team is in trouble now that they've lost 2 games in a row? Kind of are trending the wrong direction as the rest of the division is trending up. Do you see them in potential trouble of not making the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, they're in that 4th spot. Again, they're kind of on an island right now in the Atlantic. 13 points back, 8 points ahead. So they're like, don't have to worry about anybody catching them like in a game or two, but yet they're still a couple games behind as far as trying to catch up. And Toronto has a game in pocket too, so that lead could grow to 10 at some point here.
Because currently they're the second wild card team, trailing the Capitals by 6 points, who are the first wild card team.
Yeah. And then, I mean, looking after that, so then the next 2 wildcard teams to be competing with, Blue Jackets, who have 3 less points and the same amount of games played, and then the Red Wings, who have 3 more games played, and as mentioned, they're 8 points behind.
And the Islanders. They have
Yeah,
9 games to make up to catch the Metro. That's 18
honestly
points out there.
Yeah.
Like, if this was my Flyers, I'd be saying they're not out of it yet.
Yeah.
Like, if they had that many games left to play, but yeah.
I think, I mean, as it sits right now, I'm not too concerned for Boston just because, again, they have that second wild card spot locked up with a comfortable lead and either equal or less games played than the teams that would be trying to take that spot from them. You mentioned the Islanders. It's funny that you mentioned that. That's the team kind of looking at these standings that would be the team to come steal that wild card spot away. I don't think that the Islanders have a shot of taking a top 3 spot, but with the way the Caps have been playing, and the Islanders themselves 6-4 in their last 10, so they're at least on the winning side of hockey lately. As they make up games and kind of if that inches closer and closer to Boston's mark, then I'd be more concerned. But I mean, if they can turn around and start winning games, they're in control of their own destiny. But yeah, if they leave that door wide open, Detroit can still go on a run. Yeah, 8 points is like 4 games, but and they have 3 more games played. But I mean, anything can happen. But yeah, for the time being, I'd say at least till the end of this month, maybe in the first week or 2 of March, then kind of relooking at the standings. Okay, where's Boston at? How have they been doing? Are the Islanders on a roll? Did Detroit make a run? But yeah, I mean, Marchand being out, I think it was, what was it? I can't remember what the number was, but he passed somebody for having the most individual suspensions in a career in NHL history with this last suspension.
I don't know what number that was, but he got 6 games. And he missed last night's when they got smoked 6-rip.
Yeah. And yeah, Tuukka Rask, even though that wasn't like he's been standing on his head in the net and all of a sudden he's gone kind of thing. Because as we talked about last episode, he kind of left on a poor note, but nonetheless, losing guys at this point of the season usually isn't good, whether it's suspension, retirement, injury, whatever it might be.
Especially when he's a Hall of Fame goaltender.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if somebody was right on their heels, I'd be more concerned. But as for the time being, like I said, at least for the next couple of weeks, I'd say Boston, they're in control of their own destiny. If they can start winning games again, they're just fine.
Yeah, I see this team hitting a little bit of trouble right now, being outscored 18-6 in their last 4 games. Getting their only win against the Kraken, the first of the month, barely beating them, getting a late goal in that game. But without Marchand and Bergeron, the 2 guys that really make that team go, they're hurting. They're really hurting to find goal scoring, to find the extra momentum, as Marchand is the energy guy. He's the guy that does all the little antics to fucking get everybody fired up. And clearly he's not scared of anything, which, I mean, props to him. But without those 2 guys, without your captain, your assistant captain, leaving it all up to Pastrnak to be able to carry a team like that, I don't think he's built in the division that they play in. One guy can't get it done. Where if they were the Central, it might be a little bit different, like the Avs.
Yeah.
Like a couple guys can get it done in the Central Division, where Metro's too deep. There's just too many teams. And yeah, like you said, by the end of the month, that should be a good indication, because they really only have 2 easy games against the Senators from now until March 3rd. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams that are kind of on that cusp. I know the Stars, we talked about them last week as far as if they can make a run. The
They just beat the Bruins last week 6-1.
and then the Oilers too, kind of on their slide where it seemed like they go and get Evander Kane, they make a couple moves, they won they won one game to break their streak, and then they go back on a losing streak right away. It's like even if they do make it, I feel like it's just not realistic for them to make a run.
Calgary, though, returning to where they started the year on the top of the Pacific, running away with the division. They're only 3 points behind Vegas with 4 games in hand. They've been dominating as of late.
Yeah. That's kind of an interesting thing too, as far as if Vegas can hold on long enough until they can get Eichel and who else? Marchand, isn't he out as well right now? Or not Marchand, Petrangelo, one of those other guys is out right now.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
Or Stone. No, not Stone. Yeah, Eichel and somebody else is kind of like, oh shit, Vegas is on top of the Pacific and they're without these guys right now.
It's Stone.
Oh, it is Stone. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because now with Eichel being ready to play, if they put him in the lineup, they activate his salary cap. So they're gonna have to structure some shit around with their team in order to make room.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we talked about that a couple weeks ago with who did they get rid of? What kind of moves did they make to
get him into the lineup? Yep.
Yeah.
Because what they got rid of, I guess, didn't even really do anything. Getting rid of Tuck and the picks to Buffalo.
It'll definitely be interesting because Vegas, I mean, 5-3-2 in their last 10, and then as you mentioned, Calgary's rolling 8-2, 5-win streak.
And they beat good teams too, Calgary.
Mm-hmm. And as far as them, kind of where they're, like you said, they have 4 games in pocket and they're only 3 points back. Behind them, they have 3 games less played than the Knights, 4 games less than the Ducks, and they're a point ahead of both of them. Still super tight because, I mean, yeah, Calgary has games to make up, but if they lose the games that they're making up, then it keeps this division super tight. But so long as they keep playing hockey the way they are, yeah, I mean, by the end of the month, I would definitely say that Calgary gets back on the top of the Pacific, as you said, where they started at the beginning of the season.
And then just for the Vegas situation, they currently have $5.7 million available in long-term injury salary. Eichel is going to cost $10 million to be activated. So they need to clear $4.3 million in cap in order to free up room for him. So they're either going to have to trade that or cut that from somebody's salary and add that to the long-term injury reserve.
That's a big chunk of chunk of cash. I mean,
Especially people are gonna have to say, no, I'll give it away.
yeah.
Yeah. There's two guys. Center William Karlsson, he's 5.9 million, and then Evgeny Dadonov, a younger guy that they have signed through next season, he's only worth 5 million. So those are two guys right there that you could just say, okay, sorry, but we're getting Jack Eichel.
Mm-hmm. Or instead of getting rid of both of them, you ask them to cut their salary back. If you have them both cut their salary in half for the one season.
But then Eichel's going to have to be taking one of their spots anyway.
Oh,
like
that's
coming
true.
into the lineup, he'll be taking
Yeah.
their spot anyway. So it's like you might as well just get rid of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Get rid of him for some picks, free up some cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're going to have to do. Almost, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun the off ice or just off the field, off the court gymnastics that these teams have to go through to acquire guys they need, keep guys that they want to keep long term. Yeah, Vegas definitely needs some kind of change though, because they've been slipping a little bit as far as kind of when they made their surge to the top of the Pacific and they had a couple games in pocket of a lead. Now, between them and the Ducks in the fourth spot, that's only a 4-point difference. So 2 games, so half a week of bad hockey, and you're dropping to the middle of the division, or going from the middle of the division to the top of the division.
And yeah. Vegas knows Calgary's legit too, as Calgary just pounded them 6-0 last week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see these close battles. In the Metro, you got same thing, 4 teams within 6 points. Top of the Atlantic, the top 3 teams are within 6 points. The Central is kind of the one division where things are, I wouldn't say
away with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like locked up, but you could say locked up as they have games in pocket. The only team is Wild, have 3 games in pocket, but even if they win that's 6 points, they're still back 5.
6 down.
Yeah, but
yeah, and the Avalanche, I feel like, was the only expected runaway winner of a division this year at all. Like, I feel like all these other, like, look at the Pacific Division, minus the Kraken, there's an 11 points differential from the whole division.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Like, that means there's good hockey being played in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I shouldn't say good hockey is being played in that division. That means all the teams in the Pacific are about the same talent-wise.
Yeah, nobody's
no team has a superstar team in the Pacific.
Yeah, everybody's beating everybody kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun coming down the stretch here as far as teams kind of preparing for next season, realizing, all right, we can't make it at this point. And then as we started off talking about with Boston, kind of on that bubble right now, they're in, but pending the next couple of weeks, they could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and like you said, how it's time for teams to start looking forward to next season. I know my team, the Philadelphia Flyers, could be moving away from Claude here pretty soon to try to go get him a Stanley Cup. For the career that he's given to Philadelphia, especially now losing Sean Couturier, he just had successful back surgery early this morning. He will be out the remainder of the year. Kevin Hayes still hasn't been back in the lineup since his core surgery after he came back. Like, they're missing some huge pieces this year, and especially with the COVID year, they were really fucked with how many guys were in and out. So I know Claude sat down with his agent and the team, and they're going to be exploring the best options for him going forward. As Claude does have a full no move clause, so he fully has to agree to where he's going and that type of stuff. But yeah, I could see that going. Another couple guys keeping Flyers talk. JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, Rasmus Ristolainen, Martin Jones backup, and Justin Braun. All those guys are pending free agents at the end of the year. Why not move them and get some picks?
Yeah.
Like, let's rebuild this fucking thing instead of waiting and doing this 1 year at a time. We might as well try to overhaul it. We do
Mhm.
a core young group. But yeah. And then speaking Giroux, the last thing I wanted to mention about him, the three teams that have made news about potentially Toronto, the Wild, and the Boston Bruins.
Hmm.
And I feel like Boston makes the most sense for me if he goes there. I'd fucking hate seeing him in a Bruins jersey, but hey, if he can help that team win, let's go. Colorado too. Carolina. Like, I hope a cup contending team takes him. I really do. Because he's really good. He's always
Yeah.
been top of the league in faceoffs fucking every year.
And like you said, he's dedicated his life to the Flyers, to that team, and it comes a point in time where, I mean, sitting at the bottom of the Metro right now, you can only go up. So that as you mentioned, kind of cleaning house, building from your core young guys, and just starting over fresh, starting something different. When you're at the bottom of your division in any sport, that's the best time to make those kind of changes, because you can only get better. You can't go bottom, you can't go worse than the bottom. So but yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see, like you said, Giroux, see him go somewhere else, get himself a cup. Definitely well deserving of it at this point in his career.
Because it's just like with the trade deadline coming up here, you are in last place. You are only 2 points ahead of dropping into third place and having a really good lottery chance pick to get the number one pick. Like, start making moves, boys. Like, I've already accepted the season. I think that after they lost their second 10-game streak in a row or whatever, I was like, the season's over. And I assume other Flyers fans have accepted that fact at this point. Especially, you can't not accept the fact that they're not making it this year with how good the Eastern Conference is in general. So let's just accept the fact. Let's move on. Let's rebuild. Let's fucking start this thing over and let's get going again. Like, don't wait too long, or otherwise you'll turn into a Montreal. You get handcuffed with the situation that you have, and yeah, I don't want to see that happen to my favorite team.
That and if you wait too long, the guys that are on the table that you want go elsewhere before you get them, and then you're stuck. Fuck, we should have made a move sooner, to where, like you said, kind of that handcuff feel, to where if you don't make a staff change, a player change, something, and another team makes a change to better their team before you do, and it lines up with who you wanted to go after, then you're back to square one. Okay, now who's on the table? Now who should we go after?
And not even that, the players that you bring in too to like win,
mhm.
you handcuff them as well, not trying to move and trying to improve your team, only taking the small steps. They're just like, you're fucking wasting my career.
Yeah.
That is the end of today's Offside episode. Be sure to tune back on Monday where we recap the Super Bowl for you and talk about all other things NHL that happened over the weekend.